Back at distance night in Eugene, and the Diamond League stop here in 2021 will be the women's 2-mile. As they get lined up here on the main straightaway as we look at the field and go to the outside. And when we bring a good distance race to Hayward Field, we get the best in the world. In this case, world record holder at 5 and 10,000 meters. Lakasene Gide of Ethiopia.
Surprised to see her in the 2-mile tonight, but I think she's got a lot to prove and a lot on her mind. So we'll see if she gets out after it early. And right next to her is Obiri, so she will want to challenge right away.
Helen Obiri, twice the world champion at 5,000 meters, and Coco Klosterhoffen of Germany in the German kit, 8th at the Olympic Games in the 10,000 meter. Just the 4th race for her this year, and she comes into this very unique distance at 2-mile. Just how unique? The world's fastest time this year is actually held by a high schooler, Audrey D'Adamio, a Michigan prep runner from Birmingham Seaholm. But we're underway with the women's 2-mile, and Des set the stage here. We'll see those lights, and those lights will be pacing these women to attack the world best in this event. Just one woman in history has ever run faster than 9 minutes for the 2-mile. Meseret Defar did that back in 2007, and we think Gide is going to lead the charge here and try to get another world best under her belt.
Absolutely. I think they're out here to do something special. The setting's perfect. You got the crowd. This is gravy season. You're running a 2-mile. The Olympics are over. You're trying to get everything you can out of the season, but without the pressure of getting through the rounds. So everything tonight is bonus, and they're going to go after it and charge hard, hopefully right from the beginning here.
Gide back in 5th position, right behind her Obiri, and then in front of her Coco Klosterhoffen. And there's Francine NIYONSABA of Burundi, the 28-year-old. What a story she had. She would be prevented from competing in the distance she medaled in at 800 meters in Rio, moved up to the 5,000 and the 10,000 meter distance, made the Olympics in both of those events, and then finished 5th at the 10,000.
It's been a pretty quick turnaround too. She just jumped into the 5Ks recently, got her first time on the board, came back, got the qualifier, got the Olympic standard, and she just keeps getting better. So it's not surprising to see her in this 2-mile up front, believing that she can run with Obiri and Gide.
First lap of 67.5, which was a bit faster than the prescribed pace we were told they would be going after, which is about 69. We'll just see how that envelops. Sometimes it's all about rhythm. We see pacing here where they were going to try to go progressively faster. If you go out too fast, may not have much left in the legs for that second mile.
For sure, and that's what's so great about these lights is, in theory, they can set the tone for you. You could really ruin a race in the first lap or two just by getting out too aggressive, being too excited. The lights are like a governing chip, and they should bring you in, but it shows that this is still racing, and they can only do so much. It's on the pacers to really manage everyone, and in this case, we're going to see how it develops over the last couple laps and if this bites them in the butt.
So backed off a little bit on that second lap. You see there just about 68 high. And now the two pace setters still in front. Addie Townsend followed by Allie Cash. Cash, a former University of Oregon athlete, back in friendly confines at Hayward Field. Then NIYONSABA, and then Klosterhoffen, and then Helen Obiri, the aforementioned world champion at 5,000 meters. Silver once again in Tokyo at 5,000 meters. She also silver medaled in Rio in 2016.
You can see them now settling in, and this is the problem with the early laps of these races. It's one too fast, one too slow. It takes a few to just lock in, but it looks like they're managing it. Klosterhoffen started a little slow this year. She had a few injuries she was managing, but she's really turning it on at this late point in the season, so it's going to put her in a good position. And when she's on in 2 miles, we've seen what she's done indoors on the boards. She's among the best, so it's not surprising to see her really chipping away, and she's probably rounding into form here.
Well, rounding into speed right now is Obiri, and a bit of jostling there as Klosterhoffen got a little bit caught in a pinch and had herself between a couple of runners and the rail. Now she falls back into that 5th spot with Allie Cash still pacing the group with Obiri, then Niyonsaba, Gide, and Klosterhoffen with a little shove to the back of Gide.
Yeah, it's getting chippy out there. You usually see that in football, not on the track, but I like it. It means people are aggressive. They all want to be there. They're fighting for their spot. You want to be on that rail, and position matters here.
Go back to that spot just before the finish line where Niyonsaba kind of cut in, and you know, Niyonsaba was disqualified in the 5,000 meters in Tokyo, still learning the rhythm of this longer race.
She was, and she bounced back fine in that 10. It was a great turnaround. You got to keep your head on straight. Same thing with being jostled in a race like this. It's part of the racing. You can't let that upset you or get in your head to make you do something silly like make a big surge. And she seems calm and collected, and it's part of the race.
So Cash has dropped off as the final pace setters. They come through the first half in 4:32. And so the plan was to pick up the pace once the pace setters went off. We're expecting laps now about 67, perhaps even faster. And Gide has tried to insert some pace here since Cash went off the track.
Absolutely. You can see it in the group. It's starting to spread out. Klosterhoffen's having a little bit of a struggle to hang on the back here. You want to stay on that group and just let them pull you along. And it's a big moment for her. She's got to really attach. And there's not too much racing left, but when you start to think about what's left, that's when it gets really difficult. You have to just stay in that moment.
Klosterhoffen in danger of losing touch there to Niyonsaba. Needs to reel them back in as the trio up in front, led by the world record holder at 5,000 and 10,000 meters. Latasene Gide down the main straightaway in just her 4th race of the season, gearing up to attack this world best again. 8:58.58 is the mark to beat as they come through that last lap in a fast 66.5.
Gide took a little peek back. She's racing. She's worried about Obiri. She's worried about Niyonsaba, but she also has the clock on her mind. She needs to press here. It looks like they're kind of regrouping on her. Just a little bit left to go. She's got to really push here.
Obiri back in 3rd, trying to use the arms to stay in this race. Niyonsaba looking very confident. Again, moving up in this distance over the last 5 years. Jos Herman's on the track calling out instructions to Gide. And now definitely some separation between Gide and Niyonsaba and the world champion Obiri.
Niyonsaba's put herself in a great spot. She's just been shadowing Gide and the leaders this entire time. She's letting them do the work, letting them pull the pace. It does look like there's that separation from Obiri. She's working incredibly hard, and it's gotten away from her at this point.
So 2 laps to go. Niyonsaba inside her comfort zone. Again, a medalist in the Olympic Games at the 800-meter distance. And right up alongside Gide as Obiri begins to look around, wondering where everyone is behind her. Maybe thinking about 3rd. And look at Niyonsaba. Goes to the lead against the world record holder.
That's the move. She looks so strong. Gide's been looking like she's been struggling just a touch. It seems like the effort's much bigger for her, much greater for her than Niyonsaba. She keeps looking back. It's like she wants to make sure she's ahead of Obiri, but Niyonsaba's out in front making this thing happen.
As they come around the final turn, down the main straightaway for the penultimate time, it's Niyonsaba leading Gide. Only 3 women have gone under 9:10 in this race, indoors and out. That should be easily achieved here with 1 lap to go.
This is where she thrives as an 800-meter, that kick, that last lap. Sure, she's moved up in distance, but she still has the speed. It's not about that quick turnover, that big kick move. She just needs to slowly work into that top gear over this 300 meters, and she's doing that right now. You can see the separation happening.
So Niyonsaba, the 28-year-old from Burundi, now with about a 10-meter advantage on Gide. Gide looks to the inside, wondering where Obiri is, as now she looks to be trying to hold on for 2nd. And Niyonsaba coming back to Hayward Field moving up in distance. And this is a statement kind of win. And now what can she do against the clock? Less than 100 to go.
NIYONSABA trains in Oregon. She was with the Oregon Track Club. This is her home crowd too.
As she comes to the line, she will just be off the 9-minute barrier. That is the second fastest time outdoors ever in the event. And oh, by the way, a new world best. No difference to the high schooler from Michigan by a minute.
Wow. Great running. Like you said, Paul, that's a statement run. This is a huge upset. It was positioned as Gide versus Obiri. They've gone back and forth. What's the record between the two? Well, NIYONSABA says, honestly, I'm not too worried about it. I'm here to start my own record in the 2 mile. She's moved up to the 5K and the 10K quite nicely. The 2 mile suits her well.
So race was pretty much Gide driving it till about 700 meters to go. And you do this in the road races too. Go by with authority and don't look back.
Absolutely, it has to be a definitive move. There's no reason to go the front and just do the same thing. You want to make a statement and say, now the racing has begun. And she did that, and you can see it going into the bell lap. There's the separation beginning, and she just continues to drive that pace down.
And you see Gide already starting to look behind, so she knew there wasn't much left in the legs to counter NIYONSABA's move. And as you mentioned, Des, NIYONSABA, who has trained with the Oregon Track Club Elite, the locals know her well and embrace her across the line. A big victory for her at the 2 mile distance. Number 3 all time, if you include outdoor and indoor marks, but the second fastest outdoor performer in history in the 2 mile for Francine NIYONSABA. Gide second, and Helen Obiri finishing in third. One other race to come, it'll be the women's 5,000 meters, but coming up shortly, the opening ceremony of the new Hayward Field at the University of Oregon. Stick around and enjoy that. More racing to come.